Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Foreman community demo. Today, our demo is a little short. Most of our team is actually getting ready for DevConf. We'll talk about that in a moment. As usual, questions, you can talk to us on IRC, on the Foreman, on Twitter, or on the YouTube live chat. Also, please remember to check your video quality. The default for YouTube is not great for our screen sharing. So we have some updates today about logging, UI changes, and some more. One second. Okay. Like I said, most of our team is actually getting ready for DevConf, which will be tomorrow during the whole weekend until Sunday in Brno. We have a booth there, so you can come find us. Then next week, we'll have FOSDEM during the weekend in Brussels. Right after that, we have Config Management Camp in Ghent. In FOSDEM, we'll have a booth at the K building on the first floor. There's also a Foreman talk on the config management in the config management room by Sean. I'll put in the details on our events page later. In config management camp, we have our booth. We also have a track. We'll get the room later, and I'll post it on the comments of this video as well. And we have Foreman Construction Day. The registration is open. And in the comments later on, you'll see the link to that as well. You can also find it on Discourse on our events page. So let's start with Tomer.
Hello, everyone. I'll share my screen. What I'm going to show is very, very short. It's a setting that allows you to disable or enable HSTS. HSTS is basically an HTTP header that allows the server to tell the user's browser, "Hey, remember me? I use only HTTPS. Please don't connect to me unsecurely." So once you go to a page that sets the HSTS header, then you won't be able to browse any pages that aren't secure. The reason that we need to allow disabling this is that some of our users with Catello sometimes publish repositories as HTTP repositories. So if they don't disable HSTS, once they browse to the Catello machine, they won't be able to browse to the repository from their browser. Curl and YAM and everything will still work fine, but the browser won't allow them to browse to that repository. So it's just a setting that's added inside settings YAML, HSTS enabled, and it defaults to true since it's more secure. If you need to be able to browse to these repositories, all you have to do is change this setting to false and restart the Foreman server. And then you'll be able to browse, like always, also to HTTP repositories. That's it for me.
Thanks, Tomer. I don't see any questions right now. So let's continue to Andre with hardware model for host group.
Okay, let me just share my screen. You should see my screen now, and I have a very short demo today. Basically, this new feature will be useful for you if you create your host and host group in the UI. Basically, what I did is I added a simple dropdown that was previously missing for the host group. It's the deploy on select box that allows you to select where your hosts from that host group will be deployed. So I'll name it demo host group, and I'll also select compute profile, and I'll submit. And now I try to create a new host. And right now, if I select the host group that I have just created, I get the deploy on and compute profile from the host group inherited. So basically, you get pre-selected the values from the host group for your host. That's all.
So I have a question about that. The inherit button, does that still allow you, so that would allow you to choose, or does this now make sure that it's always inherited?
No, you can still choose if you want different profile or different or something different. You can still choose.
Okay, thanks. So now we have 2 changes from Walden. We'll start with the Red Hat repositories.
I'm actually going to start with the other change. Can you see my screen? I don't see it on the.
Yeah, I can see it.
All right.
The other slide.
Okay. So actually, the first thing I'm going to show is a feature of adding breadcrumbs and a resource switcher. We currently have this feature in Catello, where if you go to a page, you can switch to other items within that same level. I think I've demoed this before, but if not, there's a quick demo right there. But we're in the process of adding this to Foreman as well. Currently, Amir has added just the breadcrumb part of it. There's a PR for that, and we also have a PR for the little switcher thing. So those will be coming soon. So this is kind of just a little preview. I guess that's what I just clicked on. But you can see it's just a breadcrumb to provide some navigational context to make it easier to get back to things. The next thing that I'll show is the Red Hat repositories page. This is the current one in master, and as you can see, it's kind of annoying how you have to expand and there's no search abilities, and it's just a kind of a mess of a multi-level tree view. But one thing that we added that's in master now, there's a setting to enable this lab features menu. So you can see kind of the new stuff that we're working on. Actually, maybe I'll show you this setting real quick just for reference. It's called Show Experimental UI. And you just click that to yes, and then you'll get this lab features menu. But anyway, this is the new version of the page that myself and Dan have been working on. And we will be doing a kind of more deep dive demo of this next Wednesday during the UI demo slot. But this is still in development, so there are some things that don't work yet, like this search and this drop down don't really work. We don't have pagination yet, but you can kind of see the direction that it's going. And then you'll just can add and remove, or I guess enable and disable repositories from this page. Yeah, like I said, it's still kind of rough, but it's, I think, already an improvement on the other one. That's pretty much it, unless anyone has any questions.
Have you tested this page with, like, if you have a huge subscription manifest with, like, I don't know, thousands or products or repositories, how it works?
Not yet, but it shouldn't be any different from the old one. As far as performance, it should be better, I would imagine, because this old page is rather slow. The real limiting factor here is the communication with the CDN, which is why we have to, every time one of these is expanded, we actually go out and fetch this list from the CDN. So that's kind of the limiting factor. But currently the navigation on this page consists of hitting Control F and searching for what you want to find. And in the case of RHEL, I mean, there's, I don't even know how you would have to type out Red Hat Enterprise Linux server in order to find that in this list, or I guess scroll down till you see it. But I think that the search functionality will be a huge improvement on that on this current kind of unwieldy list. And as well, we have plans to put popular repositories or products at the top. So we'd throw like RHEL and some other popular ones up top so they're easier to find. Yeah, that doesn't really answer your question, but
it does, and I really like the having those on the top. I scroll down like 10 times a day, so that's appreciated. Thanks. Looks good.
Thanks.
I don't see any more questions right now. Oh, but Dan actually responded. So there will also be pagination. So you will see a few results at a time. And Walden, we now have another question for the new UI. Is the search for products or repository sets?
I believe the search is for repository sets.
Yeah, Dan actually answered that as well. So yeah. There aren't any products on that page.
Right. So we got rid of the this kind of artificial grouping of products, so that instead of having kind of 3 levels to dig into, there's only 2. We wanted to get rid of even this, but because of the way that the CDN is laid out, we had to maintain this for now. In the future, it would be nice to be able to, because currently we won't be able to search on architecture and version, I think, if I'm remembering this correctly. But in the future, it'd be nice to get all of this information as some JSON or something, so we can actually search on these individual items instead of making a call each time.
Thanks. No more questions for now. So moving to Lukasz about logging changes.
All right, so you should see my terminal, hopefully. So basically, when I added this bullet to the list, I was hoping that I will have a PR, maybe.
Zoom in a bit, please.
Sorry?
Can you zoom in a bit, please?
Sure. Zoom in. It's huge. How about now?
Better.
All right. So the thing is, I was hoping to have a PR ready, but that's not the case due to other priorities. But I have something different for you. So the title is wrong, just for the record. I'm actually working on improving logging in Foreman core in a way that we'll be able to, in addition to what we have today, that is standard output logging, file logging to production log. In addition to that, we'll have opportunity to set up logging into system journal or syslog. So that's what's coming. I'll hopefully demo that next week, next sprint. So my backup feature I want to show is bootloaders, and we, if you install TFTP Smart Proxy module, our install will deploy you grub2 EFI file, which is the grub x64 EFI, both on Debian and Fedora and Red Hat based distributions. We changed that recently to a package. So there's a package called Foreman bootloaders. There's something, and it will drop you the very same file. The way it worked in the past is we had basically binaries of those EFI files, binaries in tarball, and this was shipped basically. And this was kind of temporary solution because RHEL 7.4 actually introduced a couple of new packages. Oh, it was there actually, but the group 2 EFI package was only for the architecture that your smart proxy was working on or installed on, that it was x64. And now in RHEL 7.4, those packages are now no arch modules or no arch packages. And as you can see, this is RHEL 7.4, and we see all the supported architecture, most of supported architectures. So Intel 62, 32, ARM 64, and we also have we also have IBM PowerPC. Now CentOS does not have PowerPC and ARM; it only has Intel's. Now the change is very simple. Basically, the RPM package now, it's called TFTP bootloaders. Red Hat is no longer shipping those files. It ships a script for generate bootloaders, and there's a sub package TFTP boot, which basically calls this script and generates those files on the fly in a post-scriptlet. So basically, it will generate for all the architectures you have accessible. So on CentOS, it will generate you Intel 32, Intel 46, ARM, and then in addition on RHEL, it will generate you ARM 64 and PowerPC, normal, big endian and little endian. And in addition to that, it will also copy you shim bootloader. That's for secure boot. And both versions that are signed, these are the normal ones signed by, or the default ones, which are signed by Microsoft, and the -Red Hat ones are signed by Red Hat keys if you prefer to install Red Hat key into your BIOS or firmware. And basically, so there is no change. I just want to mention this on the demo, that there shouldn't be any change. You shouldn't be seeing any difference. It's just everything should work. And in addition to that, we also start to ship or start to generate those netboot compatible directories. So if I do, for example, this one, it's actually the very same thing, but in different format. The grub is, in this case, is broken into modules, and the file name is core or EFI or core 0 in case of PC, and then the file is smaller basically, and it loads the modules during the runtime. So in the future, we would like to change the TFTP path from grub to grub x8664.efi to grub2/ and then the platform and then core. So this change in the package is preparing this change. I'll be doing PR this sprint, hopefully. So anyway, the takeover here is that we are changing the bootloaders. The PR is, I think, near almost to be merged. So this will hit one, not this will not hit 117. It will hit 118. But just be careful if you encounter any issues with booting EFI systems or booting any grub2 compatible systems. Just let us know, or where to dig. You can always revert to the old version of the package. Okay, and that's about it.
Thanks, Łukasz. I don't see any other questions right now. So one thing, Walden, maybe you would like to present this. We have UX demos they were sort of once every 2 weeks, a little longer this time, but we have one next week. So maybe you want to present what it's going to be about for people watching. Maybe they'll want to join next week as well.
Oh yes, it's next week at 9 a.m. Eastern on the 31st of January. And Dan Seetaller will be presenting a more in-depth look at the Red Hat repositories page, what I just demoed. But if you have any opinions or questions on that page, feel free to join next week and give us some feedback. And we will be continuing these demos every other week. We kind of had a little bit of a lull in them over the holidays, and we want to pick them back up. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
There was also a demo last time about the breadcrumbs and item switcher, the Foreman part of it. And for anyone that wants to watch that and maybe have an opinion, now would be the time, because Amir is working on it now. So we have one more question, an AOB question on the live chat. What is the latest in deb patch support that's due Q1? Does anyone know?
Hello?
Maybe Greg can answer that one. Hey, Greg.
Hey, how you doing, guys? Sorry, this is going to be very, very fast because I've literally just got into the door and I don't have my microphone set up or anything, so probably this is bad audio and all the rest of it. So what was the question?
The question was an AOB question. What is the latest in deb patch support that's due Q1?
Sorry, I couldn't quite work that out. Could you say it again?
Let me send you the question.
Yeah.
Anyway, we have Greg here now, so he can give us a discourse update.
Yeah, I just wanted to pop in. Hi guys, I thought I'd pop in on my leave. My son has fallen asleep on a nice walk, so I literally came back and caught the end of the demo. So first of all, to the latest in the Catello deb, I have absolutely no idea what the answer to the Catello debs is. You'll have to ask Justin about that. I believe it's being reviewed and it will be in at some point. I know the pulp side is done. I think the Catello side is going to be a little bit longer. For Discourse, I just wanted to pop in and basically give you guys an update. Hope you're enjoying it. I hope you're liking it. We're just under a month in now. So I wanted to let you know how it's going from the admin side. It's looking pretty good, I have to say. From sort of for the aims that we had, to increase interaction, to try and increase how users engage, we've had 112 new accounts registered in this 1 month period. I know that because all the mailing list accounts are a higher trust level, so these are trust level 0 accounts. So it might actually be higher than that. Actually, no, sorry, I've got better data here. It's 106. Sorry. So that's in the last 30 days. So people are coming in, which is nice. Now that might be people who who were here before and forgot their account or whatever, but still, it's nice. In terms of quality of support, which is something we talked about, time to response is somewhere in the region average of 8 hours, which I think is much better than it used to be on the mailing list. Now this might be, it might be a blip, it might go down, but I'd like to think that that continues. And I think the template is working, and this is very subjective, but it feels to me very much like the quality of support requests is higher because we're using that template, which I think is guiding people to telling us what we need to know. And you see the posts that are quite well structured, and you recognize that template as soon as you see it. So this is good. From a development point of view, I think we're seeing quite a lot of development discussion, which is really nice. We're making use of the polls, which is nice. I'm actually quite bad for this because I don't put polls up, and I really should. But I think that's working quite well. That's come up a few times, and I want to give a big shout out to Tomer actually on this and other points, who's doing a lot of sort of editing of posts, adding tags, adding polls, that kind of thing. So thank you very much to him for all his support on the forum side of things. In terms of how it's going from my perspective, the server is coping reasonably well. We have plenty of space. We have plenty of capacity within our email system. We've sent 15,000 emails in the last 30 days, which is well within our capacity. We get 50,000 a month for free, so this is fine. So all that mailing list stuff isn't hurting us at all. There is a bug in Docker which is causing occasional errors. This appears to be tied to the backup system, so basically it kills Discourse at 3 in the morning. So if you see that, ping someone, myself or one of the info team, like Ohad or Tomer or someone, and we can restart it. We're looking at getting some monitoring in place. As I say, this is a bug in Docker rather than Discourse, and so we're waiting for Docker to fix it. It's really in depth. If you want to know about it, get in touch and I'll tell you. But yeah, it's a really weird thing that only occurs in very specific circumstances, and it basically causes Redis to start timing out, which is really annoying. That's the only real problem we've seen with it at all in terms of actual sort of show-stopping errors. I know a few people have open issues on site feedback. I haven't forgotten about you. I will be getting to it, but just this month is crazy busy, what with all the prep for conferences and other projects I've got going on, and just generally being a parent as well. So I haven't forgotten at all, and that's why that category is there, so that we can track these things. So yeah, in general, I'm very happy with where we're at with it. It looks like it's working quite well. I hope to have some better analysis in place in a short while, so you can see whether things are working out the way we think. Certainly, it doesn't look like it's getting any worse anyway, so this is good news. So yeah, all I'll say is for those people who haven't already had a look around, go join some groups, go follow some tags, because that's a really good way to find posts that interest you and that you can help out with, and that'll help everybody out. So yeah, thanks very much. That's me.
We had one comment that latest post is very handy. Also, Justin answered that dev support will be available in Catello 3.6.
Aha, there you go. I'm glad people are finding it useful anyway. I've had quite a few private comments saying that they're liking the direction that it's going. So this is very good to hear. It was obviously quite a gamble. We did as much discussion as we could beforehand, but ultimately this was always going to be a bit of a gamble, and I'm glad to hear that people seem to quite like it.
Me too. Okay, that's it for today. Like I said, with the conferences, I'll put in the comments of the links to registration or to the schedules, and see you guys there. Thanks for watching.